Good afternoon. I'm Todd Biggett. I've been part of the Tech Wildcatters program since the early days of 2010. It's great to see it transform over the years into a bigger, better venue for the community here. This next company, Nexiden, caught my eye based on some of the core characteristics they have. A little bit about myself. I get involved in early stage exit positioning. I work with companies over the last 7 years. I've built and exited 3 companies, working on my 4th. And as part of that process, I always look to 3 or 4 fundamental elements. I think Nexiden has some of the core elements, and if you look closely behind the scenes of what they have, they are positioned in a very, very dynamic market, a big market, a market with a lot of problems for the big guns and big companies out there. Klaus is a very charismatic individual, very technical individual, and I think you'll really enjoy what they have to offer here. So this is Klaus and Nexiden.
Hi everybody, my name is Klaus Foster. I'm the founder of the Nexiden, and we don't like, we hate passwords. Let me ask you something. Just in the last week, how many of you have forgotten a password and have to reset? Yeah, it's terrible. So you have to go through the I forgot the password thing, and it sends you an email, and you have to click on things, and it's a pain. And sometimes there's rules about what characters you have to use, and it's terrible. And you end up writing it down so you can actually remember these things. In addition to that, it seems like weekly that there's a breach somewhere. It was only yesterday that eBay announced that they had a big breach, so we're all going to be asked to change our eBay passwords. We've all heard about Heartbleed, which was leaking passwords as well, and of course the big Target hack, which was really about getting to your credit card numbers, but the root cause of how they got in and everything was because the password was hacked. So this is a real problem. It turns out that 76% of all cyber attacks are actually caused by the passwords getting hacked. And that's totaling a $300 billion a year kind of problem. And it affects hundreds of millions of people. So to solve this problem, you have to balance convenience and security. And we sometimes store the password in the browser, or we use special password vault pieces of software to store things, which doesn't really solve the security of it. For security reasons, so sometimes they add second factor authentication, which sometimes it's these little hardware things with a little number on it. Sometimes they text you a message that you have to enter, or it's a phone-based thing. But it's also something in addition to the password. You don't have the password, and in addition to that, you have to do this next step, which is really inconvenient. So what if you could do both, make it convenient and secure at the same time? So here I am wanting to log into my online QuickBooks account. Now we do want to replace passwords, but they could still choose to still have the passwords there. But you could then take your phone, you point it at the screen, you enter a PIN code, and then you're logged in. So what happened here was not that the phone was sending back the user ID passwords. There is no user ID password anymore. This is a cryptographic challenge response that happens. You have to have your phone, and you have to know that PIN, so it's a dual factor login. And you did not need to know the user ID password for this particular place. This is called authentication. The authentication market is about a $3 billion market this year, growing about 19% a year. You can recognize some of the companies at the bottom here. RSA is the market leader with about 20% of the market. And these guys are all stuck in this old kind of way of doing things. Forrester is doing a very good job at comparing authentication solutions. They actually have a framework of 26 different features that they compare. And when you compare our solution to everything else, hands down, we're better than everything else. This shows a small subset of this comparison matrix. The last row here refers to the fact that we can show that even if our servers are completely hacked and taken over by an attacker, you can still not forge a authentication, which is pretty powerful. In addition to being better than everybody else, we also have 3 pending patents on the aspects of how we are better and different than everybody else. They were filed about 2 years ago. They're still pending, but we have high confidence that they will issue, and when they do, that they will matter. We've been around the block before on patents, and this is not the first rodeo. So Bill Perry, myself, and the founders, we went through a very successful startup called Efficient Networks. We actually did a pivot in that company, which was before a pivot was called a pivot, and eventually IPO'd and was acquired by Siemens for $1.5 billion, and we had an awesome advisory board. So we're going to bring a authentication as a service product to market, and we will continue to protect our IP. We will partner up with an established vendor and promote the adoption that way. And in this space, there's been a number of acquisitions. This is just over the last year, a subset of those. The last one is interesting. The Slit login was bought by Google back in February, and it just so happens that we're pretty sure that one of our patents is covering what they're doing. So we are Nexiden. If you hate passwords as much as we do, come talk to us later. Thank you.